I tell you what, folks, there's nothing like losing track of time, rushing to your computer, starting a live stream because it's getting dark outside and you're running late, and then you look up at the clock and it's 4:57 p.m. Gotta love the daylight saving time change. And welcome to the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank. I'm Jared Floyd. Hello, Nephew Cooper, the first person to jump in the chat and say hello this evening. Hopefully you're having a wonderful start to your Tuesday evening. If you have not stepped outside and spent some time outdoors, I highly suggest you do so. We walked down the road and with the little one earlier, and she's enjoying the outdoor time now on the swing set with Mom, and I will join them once we wrap up things here. Overall, it is, again, 60s to low 70s across the region this evening. Your forecast made possible by ServPro, Monroe, West Monroe, faster to any size disaster. Visit servpro.com for more. Again, 66 in Monroe and El Dorado and Camden, 67 in Lake Providence and Greenville, 73 in Columbia and Winfield and Natchitoches, 74 currently in Natchez. Obviously, as the sun sets tonight, temperatures will fall rather quickly. But dew points are a smidge higher, back into the upper 40s to low 50s. And we could see some low clouds kind of start cranking into the area overnight, maybe even some patchy fog. Winds have been out of the south and southeast through much of the day. Most of those winds are fairly light, should stay fairly light through the overnight as well. Visibility, again, could be an issue in some spots tomorrow morning. Again, if we are going to see some clouds roll in, it'll probably be in the southern parishes and counties, and it could also maybe bring some patchy fog in along with it. It should mix out pretty quickly as we go through the late morning hours, and then we could run into a similar scenario on Thursday morning. Again, probably not a widespread concern, but something that we'll watch during the late night hours tonight and into the day tomorrow just to see if it actually happens. Check the radar. Radar products made possible by Brown's Roofing. Check out brownsroofingla.com to schedule your free roof inspection. No rainfall, across the area. There's not a whole lot to talk about in our region in the short term, but some change is afoot. Futurecast shows winds back out of the south as we head through the day tomorrow. Of course, Futurecast made possible by Bayou Power Sports, I-20 Frontage Road in Monroe. And those clouds, as I mentioned, kind of roll back in along with some patchy fog to start the day tomorrow. As we go into the afternoon, probably quite a bit of sunshine across the region. And along with that, kind of the same scenario for Friday. Clouds in the morning, sunshine, and paving the way to clear skies in the evening. You can kind of see that we're catching the tail end of a weak cold front that'll drift into the region on Friday afternoon, Friday evening. Again, this is expected to be a fairly weak boundary. We catch the tail end of it. Probably won't drive any rainfall, and it really doesn't knock temperatures down for the early part of the weekend. So, Jeremy, I got bad news for you. 80-degree readings are expected for for Friday and probably Saturday. Could see it as early as tomorrow in some spots. But the stronger front arrives in the area late Saturday and Sunday. You can kind of denote it there with the wind shift across the region as this boundary starts to make its way through the area. My telestrator skills are improving, folks. I've been practicing. Okay, that last little prong on the cold front wasn't the best, but you get the general idea. And again, brings the northwesterly and northerly winds a little bit stronger for Sunday and into Monday, and that's where we expect the much cooler air to punch into the region. The coldest morning right now looks to be Tuesday morning. So we've got a ways between now and then. But it is something to watch, and it is probably our next big weather headline. You can notice how quickly the winds return back to the south and southwest behind the front. So, again, whatever cool down we see will likely be rather short-lived. May, good evening to you. I'm glad you're enjoying this beautiful evening that we have underway. The 6 to 10-day temperature outlook has blue. And that's good because, again, that shows at least some confidence of parts of the area trending below average in that 6 to 10-day pattern. Again, most of that is really kind of indicated by what we're seeing in that with that cold front that moves through the area. Quick question, do the triangles and bumps mean different things on fronts? It's really just a kind of if you really wanted to get into how the air mass is shaped by a cold front or a warm front, there's probably a little bit of there's something that has to do with that, but really it's just to denote, red, blue. It's just contrast to be able to tell the differences, because there were a long time ago, a lot of those surface boundaries were put out, and you may not have been able to see them in color. A lot of hand-drawn surface analysis are still done in colored pencil. You will still run across a lot of meteorologists that every day will contour out a surface map and then draw out the moisture advection in green, and then the warm fronts and the cold fronts in different color, all their different colors. Occluded fronts obviously have both, all on one side. So again, meteorology basics: cold fronts, warm fronts, occluded fronts, dry lines, troughs, all that kind of stuff. I was going to really go into a really super nerdy thing about some of the basics that you learn in terms of contouring and map contours and surface observations and all that stuff. I'm not going to go into that. That'd just be that would extend this out for longer than it needs to be in terms of time, and I just maybe someday. Precip outlook over the next 6 to 10 days still continues to trend well below average. Again, I'm not encouraged about even with the cold fronts moving through. Doesn't bring any dramatic changes across the area. Jeremy, you just gave me a great idea. Fronts and how they are cross-sectioned in the atmosphere. That's going to be a weather wisdom somewhere down the line. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to write that down now before I forget. Cold fronts. I'll know what it means. Anyway, 8 to 14 day outlook. And I want to show you this for one thing. Gloria, good evening to you. 8 to 14 day outlook. Above average temperatures and perhaps trending toward above average precipitation. What does that mean in the middle of November? Above average temperatures, above average precipitation could potentially set us up for a severe weather scenario or two. Do I see any calling signs, any signals of when that could happen? No. Do I have anything, concrete in terms of model data? No. Again, I'm just looking at trends. Above average temperatures, above average precip. You combine those two together with the patterns that are in place, and you could swing a cold front through the region that could bring some thunderstorms. Again, I don't have anything concrete that signals that. That's just a hunch, just a kind of experience tells you some things at times, and so yeah, there it is. Lows tonight, mid-40s. Clouds will roll back in. Some patchy fog can't be ruled out as well. Again, especially in the river valleys, winds will be light out of the south. Daytime highs tomorrow, back in the upper 70s. I wouldn't be surprised to see the 80-degree mark in some areas. Winds will be out of the southwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour, maybe out of the south-southwest at times. And look at the 7-day forecast made possible by 3B Hardware. I continue to keep the rain chances extremely conservative this weekend. They are up to 20% along the Mississippi Valley. Highs in the low 80s, morning lows, low 60s. But you see the cold front that moves through the area this weekend. The stronger one Saturday, Sunday brings the more dramatic changes in terms of temperatures. Most spots probably won't get out of the 50s on Monday. Morning lows in most spots could be Tuesday morning close to the freezing mark. In fact, I would anticipate some areas to see their first freeze on Tuesday morning, and could see frost elsewhere across the region, even if you don't see freezing temperatures. So be aware of that. Speaking of frost, here's a look at your upcoming content. And I know you're going, what does that have to do with anything on here? I'll get to that in a minute. At 7 p.m. tonight, your fish and game forecast will be released. I know you're thinking that usually comes out at 8. I bumped it up to 7 because we have a new weather wisdom dropping tonight at 9. That weather wisdom, about 4 minutes or so, about dew and frost. And then 7:30 tomorrow morning, 7:30-ish. It usually ends up being closer to 7:45. But around that time, 7:30-ish, we will have your morning live tomorrow morning. And, of course, Too Long Didn't Read comes out about 9:30 tomorrow. So that's the next 12 hours in a nutshell. 14 hours in a nutshell. As we kind of plan through the rest of the week. There's not a lot to talk about. So, again, it gave me an opportunity. Also, real quick, thank you so much to the folks that have taken part in our little survey thing, feedback requested, talking about the push alerts. Again, so far the results have been pretty resounding of we have not overworn out our welcome in terms of producing specific geolocated alerts. Again, I'll never send those out just to be sending them out. If it's something I'm sending you, it's probably, in my mind, probably important, and I think you need to know about it. Getting into your phone via push alert is it's a very it can be very invading if you do it too many times, and so I don't want to do that. So thanks so much for the folks that have had input there. We'll probably have another one of those on Thursday because we won't have a midday live stream. I'll be out at Ruston Elementary School visiting with the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders there late morning into midday, so we won't have a midday stream on Thursday, but I'll be asking for your input about something new, and it'll probably have something to do with either the app or these live streams. Of course, forecast is always available at digitalweatherdesk.com and on the Digital Weather Desk app, which is available for Apple and Android users. Again, we've been talking about that a lot, so be sure to download it, customize your alerts, check it out, take it for a test drive. If you see anything, have any questions, let me know. And of course, we always appreciate your input here at the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank. Get outside and enjoy at least 30 minutes outside today. Get some fresh air. And enjoy the beautiful evening that we have underway before it gets too chilly, because temperatures will fall rather quickly. Keep an eye out for fog tomorrow morning. Catch first thing tomorrow, of course, Fish and Game, your weather wisdom coming out later tonight. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. And as always, thanks so much for stopping by the Digital Weather Desk, trying to speak too fast, powered by Century Next Bank. Have a great evening.